Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Kelly Stewart, joined today by Preston Johnson and Marco D'Angelo. Let's talk about the Michigan Wolverines versus Ohio State. This is an interesting one. Game of the year was Ohio State -7.5. Now Michigan -3.5. The winner of this one gets to play my favorite Wildcats team, Northwestern, in the Big Ten championship game.
Why are they your favorite now?
Because they've won me so much money this year, and I'll probably be on them.
How did Kansas State win the other day, by the way? That was actually a pretty lucky win. No offense.
I didn't watch 1 second of that game. You know which game I was watching? I know. I was watching my favorite Wildcats team as 10-point dogs make me a ton of money, plus 390 over Iowa.
At Iowa. Congratulations.
Yes, I needed that.
I was going to tweet at you and, bust Stones on Saturday, but I've seen.
And it's still purple. It's the same thing. It's such an easy transition.
That's true.
I just have to wear a purple Wildcat shirt and nobody knows the difference.
I didn't want you to have flashbacks and go back today because I've seen when guys have trolled you on Kansas State. I didn't want to get yelled at on Saturday.
No, I just don't care. I have ceased to care about this team. Actually, it's funny, I played them this week, but this is a whole nother video.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Michigan, Ohio State.
I can go first. I think it's really interesting to see in any aspect of college football having a game of the year, no matter who the teams are, a move of like 11 points through the first 10 weeks, right? Like that's pretty drastic. It means one team was a lot better or one team was a lot worse than they were perceived to be entering the season, or it's a combination of both. But when it's Ohio State and Michigan, teams that are already so elite, to see that there's that big of a discrepancy is really interesting, honestly. And to me, I think Michigan should be a favorite. I don't think I've seen 3.5 and 4 out there. That's too high for me. It'd probably warrant a bet. Technically, my number is 1.5. It's really hard to bet against this Michigan team now. It just keeps driving through. And Ohio State's a team I actually bet against this week. I took Maryland at +17 earlier, a team that can't defend the run. And Maryland, that's what they can do. So that matchup lines up. So I've bet against Ohio State plenty of times, and then I'm seeing them. They're going to get 3.5 or 4 at home. And it's really interesting because then you're like, well, the last 2 years, Michigan probably should have won. They had leads in both instances with Harbaugh there. And then they blew the leads, and that was Wilton Speight, and now they have Shea Patterson, who's a lot better. It's a really intriguing matchup. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe I can bet the under or something. My actual raw number was like 54, but it's similar to last week where Michigan State matches up with Ohio State, and they kind of shade it under because of the styles between the two and the fact that Michigan's defense is the best in the country. So it's probably not going to come out in the mid-50s. That's where I would look, though, in this game. Ultimately, I think is betting the under if it was mid-50s. But if it's ultimately 52 or 51 like that last week's game, it's a pass there.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one going, I can't believe the books are giving Ohio State 3.5 points here at home. It just screams bet Ohio State, which, that means I'm going to look towards Michigan. But that being said, as Preston said here, this Ohio State team, I did have them last week laying a short number. I thought that was the right spot. But now this week, I'm definitely looking towards Maryland. Again, this team has been consistently overvalued throughout the course of the season, and Michigan has played up to their value. Marco, your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I thought for sure this would be a prime time for you. You got a prime time home dog here, and you can't get any more prime time than this game. But you look at this one in part of the thing, obviously, Michigan has played much better than we expected them to do, and Ohio State's regressed. So as far as the line being there, and what, we never talk about how many points you put on a defensive player, but Bosa, he's got to count for definitely, what, a point and a half?
I mean, they didn't cover like 5 games.
Well, he's got to count for something, right? Because not only is he their best defensive player, maybe he was more of a leader for that defense.
So with him out, the MO on Ohio State, in last week, we did the videos and talked about it and radio shows. I said, this is an okay spot for Ohio State because the weakness they have is stopping the pass. They can't stop the pass. And Michigan State was not going to do that. And, in Ohio State, even with that, you look at the final score, though. That's probably one of the most misleading final scores of the year, the 26-6. That game was a 3-point game late in the third quarter, early fourth, and then those couple turnovers and the safety and everything else, and that game just spiraled out of control. Ohio State was life and death for a good part of that game, and that was against a team that was very one-dimensional. Michigan's not one-dimensional anymore. This is a team that can run the football and can throw the football. And as you said, Shea Patterson's gotten better as the season's gone on. Harbaugh, we've said it all year. The one missing link he's always had since he's been there is a big-time quarterback. I think he's got it with Shea Patterson. He's already slayed one of his dragons out of his closet. He beat Michigan State this year, got that monkey off his back. This is number 2. get Ohio State. And the only thing that concerns me about the over-under, and I agree with you, you look at these games, they've always been wars in the past, and the under's the way to go. Because Harbaugh's had the lead the last couple times and let the game slip away, I don't know that he takes his foot off the gas and doesn't keep attacking this Ohio State defense.
Well, that's what's interesting is I think he never took his foot off the gas. But Wilton Speight, in one of the instances, it might have been 2 years ago, threw 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter with the lead, and one was a pick six, where really all he had to do was take knees and punt, and they probably do win. So it was him not taking his foot off the gas that actually cost them in the previous years. So will he trust Shea Patterson or not? He's not Wilton Speight, so that's a positive.
Yeah.
He's got that going. At least we know that for sure.
All right.
I like Ohio State. I mean, not Ohio State. I'm sorry. I like Michigan. I think this is their year. I would love to see this better at 3, but it's not going to be.
You never know. I'm telling you, you talk about that primetime home dog, you'd be surprised to see people bring in some money on the Buckeyes here. Guys, Tuesday is always $2 Tuesday, and you get the hottest handicapper at WagerTalk's best bet for just $2.